Welcome to the Sound in Marketing Podcast. The Sound in Marketing Podcast explores and defines sound on purpose in marketing and in advertising. I'm your host, Gina Isham, owner and founder of Dreamr Productions and Sound in Marketing Learning. I create, consult, and educate brands on the power of sound in marketing. This season's title is Sonic Branding: Case Studies, Context, and Clarity. Every episode will start with a what-if brand case study focusing on one of the many audio touchpoints available. The episode will then conclude with a real-life, or fake if necessary, corresponding case study to bring even more light and context to the narrative. In the race for brand attention, sound on purpose makes all the difference. As heard in the Transaction Tone episode, sound done right is a brand's best friend. Sound done wrong is a brand's worst nightmare. This episode is about sound in automotive. How can we transmit familiarity as well as uniqueness in just a few short seconds? Cue the dream sequence. Vinn, a Scandinavian car company, was launching a commercial campaign in North America for its new EV model sedans. The problem? North America had never heard of them. Not only was this a new product, but it was launching in a foreign country where no one knew of its existence. Vinn needed to signal innovation and a distinct brand identity while staying rooted in the familiar tone of the automotive world. The company put out a request for proposal for a Sonic logo. They wanted something that personified the brand, but also resonated as a familiar automotive sound. Dreamr Productions put together some ideas. Thinking about the car and the sounds the EV emitted, we started with familiarity. What is familiar about the sound of an engine? The purr, a signal of comfort, satisfaction, and sleek power and confidence. We proposed a sleek, low-profile Sonic logo with undertones of feline, the Performance Purr. Vinn liked the idea, so Dreamr got to work. We started researching the sounds of the car itself. Believe it or not, there are a lot more sounds to a car than just the engine. We listened to the doors opening and closing, the turn signal, the cab noise or lack thereof, as well as the man-made sounds used to actually make an engine sound. Because if you didn't already know it, electric vehicles are naturally silent. From scratch, sound designers build a completely imagined audio profile. We then studied Vinn's competitors, Volvo, Scania, and Saab, to see what they were doing with strategic and branded sound. Although only Scania had an official Sonic logo, they all had specific sounds associated with performance. Volvo leaned into a calm and minimalistic approach. Scania, primarily known for its trucks and larger vehicles, focused on a robust and outgoing sound. Saab, currently involved more in defense and aviation, leaned into a more futuristic tone. Vinn's models were mostly affordable sports cars. They were known to be fast and sporty with a smooth, quiet ride. Scandinavian customers loved that they were low profile and sleek. They drove like a premium car at an affordable price. So, back to the cat purr idea. I have had cats on and off my whole life, and they are all similar in one way. Their purr always indicates if your experience with them will be good or bad. We'll just focus on the good experience for this brainstorm. When you get that good and approving purr, the world is right and the two of you are going to have a fantastic 5 or 10 minutes until she's done with you. Luckily, a car is more amiable. Unless you don't take good care of your car, routine maintenance and checkups, it won't abandon you after 3 or 4 good pets. That perfect performance purr always indicates that your experience will be positive. breeding happy nostalgia and the desire to return. It's worth noting that this level of customer experience in artful sound design helps reach the whole sales funnel: awareness, discovery, intent, purchase, and loyalty. All through a sound, a personality for a car. So what kind of personality did Vinn's EV portray? What was its performance purr? We worked with Vinn on a few different possibilities, and here's what we landed on. We took a sample of a cat purring and manipulated it into a low growl, almost like a lion. This turned into our bass track. With this, we added a simple and sleek percussion with an easily hummable melodic line. The beauty of what we created was that it could be used as is, or as a bed with the percussion only. Or, if needed, as a stripped-down guitar and piano solo. Vinn ran the campaign for several months. The feedback was great. Some caught on to the subtleties of the cat purr idea, but most didn't. But that didn't matter. What did matter was that a familiar yet new sound was incorporated into their branding assets. This audio asset could now be used across all other elements of audio advertising and sound marketing, further solidifying the brand identity. A familiar yet new sound was incorporated into Vinn's branding assets. The groundwork now laid, this sonic logo would provide a foundation for further sonic branding development if and when Vinn was ready to proceed. As it was, Vinn successfully growled its way into the North American market. Now back to reality. A sonic logo worked for Vinn, but what about the real world? What's actually happening inside the brands that do have the budget, the reach, and the need to make electric vehicles sound like something? That's where we're going next. But first, time for a coffee break. I know you know that I'm reaching for my Make Sound on Purpose mug right now.
Sometimes sound is too much, but the right sound can be perfection. That's when I turn to a warm beverage in my go-to mug. The Make Sound on Purpose mug is that perfect reminder that every strategically placed word matters, and every purposely positioned sound is perfection. A big thank you to Sound in Marketing Learning and Dreamr Productions for centering my day. It's a nice reminder that taking the time to make sound on purpose matters. Get yours today. Links can be found in the show notes. Back to you, Gina.
In real life, there are a number of companies in automotive exploring sonic branding through a sonic logo. But there is more to a car than a logo. There are exterior and interior sounds, experiential shifts, weather changes, mood changes, climate change, but I digress. Some automotive brands are looking beyond one sound. In fact, they see it as not just part of the brand personality, but more as the all-encompassing brand experience. Although writing a sonic logo for an automotive company is a dream of mine, I see what General Motors is exploring as even more exciting. I interviewed Jake Padia, creative sound director at GM years ago, and hearing what they are working on now, well, it just felt like the perfect time to call him back up again.
As we transition to a more electrified future, we recognize that sound plays a crucial role in how drivers and pedestrians perceive our vehicles.
At General Motors, it's all about identity. And identity is how you create the personality of a thing, like a car. Connecting with the vehicle through sound is just one element of brand identity and personality that GM is focusing on.
We are creating a unique auditory signature for our EVs that not only meets the regulatory requirement, but also reflects the brand identity and values, creating a more personalized connection with their vehicle.
The goal wasn't just to sound cool, it was to give the car a personality that matched its performance, while opening the door to personalized sound experiences for each consumer. But I'll let Jay tell you about it.
We are experimenting with customizable soundscapes that allows drivers to select their preferred auditory experience, focusing on how these sounds can evoke emotions and enhance the overall driving experience. Not just a mode of transportation, but an extension of the driver's lifestyle.
As a sonic strategist and a lover of sound in general, this truly is a dream to hear about. GM's sound strategy is to build an ecosystem of sound identity far beyond just a sonic logo.
Example, brand like Cadillac, we have our values as bold, sophisticated, and optimistic. So how does movement and groove of music and sound symbolize boldness? How does arrangement and layering of these sounds convey sophistication? And how do melodies and dramatic arc can be utilized to convey optimism? We want Cadillac to be confident, not arrogant, extraordinary, not erratic, empowering, not commanding.
By paying attention to its own identity, these values of personality are more easily found. With this attention to detail, GM is able to 1. Define what its branded sound is, and 2. How it can be uniquely personalized consumer to consumer. How on earth can it be both branded and personalized? One might ask.
We are trying to create different drive modes for the vehicle. It's called EV sound enhancement to create that emotional connection and alignment between the driver and the vehicle.
GM calls these personalized drive modes.
Modes like tour mode, sport mode. For Cadillac, we have less velocity mode. GMC, we have watts to freedom mode. GMC Sierra, we have max power mode. And for Chevys, we have wide open watts mode. It gives you a total different driving profile and dynamics to suit the driver's experience, which matches with the car's performance. It's directly proportional to the speed and the throttle, and also conveys the power of the vehicle which they are driving.
And then there's wow mode.
Wow mode. If you tell wow mode in Chevy, what does it mean? All right, see the Barbie movie. You'll know what wow mode is. Or see Captain America. You'll know what watts to freedom mode in Hummer is when Captain America himself is driving that car. We are there on customization.
So that's their personalized to performance focus. Here's where it gets really fun. Based on these modes, they can further customize into something all their own.
What we call as my mode, in which they can adjust sound which they want in their own mode.
Very cool. But is it worth it? In terms of long-term ROI? Yes.
Brands that prioritize sound design often see increased customer satisfaction and retention, which translates into higher sales, market share, etc. Sound can evoke specific emotion and association in consumers. So this emotional connection can foster brand loyalty to choose that brand over competitors.
This is exactly why I wrote the Transaction Tone episode. Why go so far with a beep or a boop at checkout? Because personalization and brand identity matter. Hopefully, after listening to that episode and like 130 more sound and marketing episodes, you get it. If not, here's the Cliff Notes. Sound builds stronger brand awareness, has an insane emotional connection, it is effortlessly shareable, increases brand humanity, aka identity, builds stronger customer loyalty, and harnesses long-term brand advocacy, aka fanboys and fangirls. I could go on, but I try not to make these episodes too long. Here's a real-world example that most all of us are familiar with. Forgive me to those that have heard this example a ton, but here we go again. Intel became a household name, not because of the product itself, but because we as consumers had something to relate to. Well over 30 years later, that 5-note mnemonic created connection, advocacy, and long-term ROI. Want to hear more about Intel's journey with sound? I'll link to an episode I produced featuring it in the Ad Infinitum podcast. And as in Intel, these sounds are redeveloped and grown with the brand. Just like visual logos over time, perceptions change and brands evolve. Sonic branding and sonic logos are just one more way for our brand to go from adolescence to adulthood. These sounds become even more critical when you're dealing with electric vehicles that, in essence, have no sound at all. The key is to listen to the sounds of the past to elevate the sounds of the future. Real sound versus engineered.
Real and fictitious sounds in EVs is a fascinating area of exploration. Real sounds provide essential feedback to driver and contribute to the overall driving experience. The whir of the electric motor or the subtle sounds of the vehicle systems at work, some beautiful frequencies could be added on it as long as it's organic and futuristic is the way we are going in General Motors. Fictitious sounds, on the other hand, are designed to enhance the emotional connection, but in the most natural way as possible. So these sounds can be tailored to evoke specific feelings or create a unique brand identity. As we move forward, the challenge will be to balance these elements, ensuring that the sounds we create are both functional and engaging at the same time.
If after all of that you are thinking, wow, there is a lot of nuance to this, you would be right. You have to be bold, yet conservative, futuristic, but rooted in reality, creative without forgetting functionality. Creating sounds for electric vehicles is a wild west of possibilities.
There is no reference. So everyone is innovating, trying to do their best in order to make the customer's life a better place and a better world to live in.
It's not about creating pretty music. It's not about finding fun sounds to throw into key moments. And it's definitely not a part of traditional marketing practices. Sonic branding is the future of brand marketing. Mark my words. Those of us that know. Sonic branding has a lot of possibilities and potential that have yet to be discovered. The possibilities of sound are as nuanced as our own minds and emotions. When a 5-note phrase can make us connect to a computer chip, when we hear and know Seinfeld is starting, when a jingle makes us think of hamburgers, we know that this can't possibly just be a happy accident. When you hear these sounds and realize how successful they were with these companies and brands, sound doesn't just become a nice to have. Sound becomes a strategic and fiscal brand responsibility. Making sound on purpose equals dollar signs over decades and generations. This is sonic branding. Handle with care. Always consult a professional for best results. I hope you're enjoying the show. Be sure to subscribe to the Sound and Marketing monthly newsletter for episode releases, sonic branding resources, news, and new swag. Want more sound and marketing? I gotcha. Here are a few more episodes to get you started. Are jingles better than sonic logos? What's the difference between a jingle and a sonic logo? Aren't they the same thing? The sound of General Motors. Part 1 and 2 of my first interview with Jay Kapadia. We go deep into the process of making sound for cars, both gasoline and electric vehicles. What is sensory perception? The importance of engagement and perspective. Chevy Silverado's Walter the Cat. Thoughtful music selection with a well-thought-out script made for a campaign that got this non-truck gal interested in trucks. Thank you to Jake Apatia and the team at General Motors for your wisdom and insights. Thank you also to Artlist.io for your supporting sounds and music. You never disappoint. And it's always fun to put in some of my own work. Thank you to the Logic Pro Training Series books and 4 years of music composition for making Dreamr Productions possible. All links will be provided in the show notes. Let's make this world of sound more intriguing, more unique, and more on brand.